I've got two shafts here and they are both 65 X-Flex, but one is the Tensei White and one is the Tensei Orange. Now on paper, these are quite similar shafts. They have quite similar characteristics, but there's one key difference. And the key difference is that the Tensei Orange has a bit more weight at this end of the golf club and it's counterbalanced. So I've had a lot of questions about counterbalanced shafts. And generally what a counterbalanced shaft is because we've got more weight at this end of the golf club, we can either play the club longer, because when you make the club longer, you get more weight in the head relative to the feel of the shaft. You put more length on the shaft and then you balance it out with the top end of the shaft, or you can put more weight, more mass in the head and balance it out with the shaft. So the counterbalance shafts are really good for that club building element. But if you don't add mass to the head or length to the shaft, you can just make the swing weight lighter with a counterbalance shaft. So when the head is lighter, it's easier to release through the ball because that end feels lighter. So we either get more mass in the head, we either get more length in the shaft, or we get a lighter swing weight that helps us with direction. So there are a few scenarios where a counterbalance shaft can be a very good idea. Now this is the Tensei White. So it's a bit of a normal shaft. It's not too, there's nothing balanced out of spec. So it's a normal kind of shaft that we kind of see quite often in a club. You tend to see the Tensei Orange in ping quite a lot because ping naturally have a heavier head. They have more mass in the head of the club. The Tensei Orange balances that out. And ping stock shafts are counterbalanced as well. You'll see CB written on them quite often. But I want to get a little feel for like the direction that I get out of this standard shaft. And it is flying fairly neutral, getting up there quite nicely. I'm just using this on a Callaway AI Smoke Max. It's on the standard loft settings. This adapter is green. Weight in the middle, nice and neutral. Nothing different on here. So I've got like neutral everything in the club. Whoa, that was a bit of a funny swing. But I've had one just leak out to the right-hand side there a little bit. It's not unhealthy. Bosh. That'll do very nicely. Now the Tensei Orange that I have here is a little bit longer. The orange shaft, because there's more weight at the top, I can play it ½ inch longer than the white and still get the same swing weight and balance from the shaft. So if I take this off and put it on the same settings, neutral straight. So if I made the Tensei White shaft longer, the head would feel heavier. This just kind of mitigates that feeling so I don't get as much difference in there. Heavier swing weights in the driver can sometimes be beneficial, but it largely depends on the golfer using them. And there we get one just turning over a bit more. Kind of felt it a bit easier to release that club. If you're the sort of golfer that loses the ball to the right-hand side, a counterbalance shaft could be a good idea. Either putting a counterbalance shaft in after the fact or getting a club that's already got a counterbalance shaft, such as the Ping G430 or Ping in general. They have that counterbalance element. You've also got the Cleveland Launcher XL2, which is a very good counterbalance shaft. They play at 46 inches as their standard length because in the Cleveland under the grip, they've got an 8-gram plug that sits inside the shaft, which allows them to play that longer standard length. Easier to release. It is flicking up that left-hand side. Just a bit more freedom to get down there. So if you lose it right, that can be very helpful. Just going to go one more. Oh, I was fighting the left. Came out of that one a bit. I'll take that out of the data. So we do have a nice difference there in terms of like direction. We've got the Tensei White here and we've got the Tensei Orange to the left-hand side. Not surprising, I've got a bit more ball speed from the Tensei Orange because that shaft is longer. I've got more time to generate speed and the balance of it is encouraging that closure of the face to get it just left of the white. If you lose the ball to the left-hand side quite a lot, then the Tensei Orange is designed to do that. So you might want to lean towards the Tensei White if you're looking in this sort of category, or stay away from counterbalance shafts. Faster speed, longer shaft, launch about the same, spin slightly higher on the Tensei Orange, carry a little bit more, probably coming from that extra bit of speed, and finishing in a similar sort of area. Because this is going so much faster, it's got that little bit more, but we've got that directional difference, which is my main sort of like characteristic of the counterbalanced family.